LSU sweeps Missouri to open SEC play. Big day for the offense. Are walks becoming an issue? Let's talk about it. Locked on LSU.
You are Locked on LSU, your daily podcast on the LSU Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Okay, let's get it. It is Locked on LSU, your team every day. I'm your host, Matt Moscona. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. We're free, available wherever you get podcasts, of course, on YouTube as well. So please subscribe. As always, thanks for making us your first listen. And as always, one of the fastest ways to help us grow is by leaving your comments below. So thank you for that. LSU beats Missouri 10-5 in the series finale. Tigers sweep the Tigers from Como to start 3-0 in conference play. It was a day where the offense got started early, never relented. The pitching staff, not great on a Sunday, but good enough to get you home and to get the series sweep. And the Tigers start 3-0 in conference play, which is more than we can say for some teams that fancy themselves as contenders at the start of the season, but it's not a great start for teams like Texas A&M. So let's dive into game 3. If you're new, thank you so much for being here. Just a quick reminder how we do this. We're live after every LSU baseball game here on the Locked on LSU YouTube channel. I'll give you about 10 minutes of my takeaways from the game. I'll grab a quick break, and then we'll come back, and it'll be your questions and comments. So please feel free to drop those questions and comments in right now. We'll get to them in just a quick second. So a couple of takeaways from this game. Let's start with Chase Shores. Started pretty good. He had a 1-2-3 first, and you're thinking, all right, after Anthony Einsen didn't get you through 4, you needed a big outing from Chase Shores, hopefully to get you deep into this ball game. But unfortunately for Shores, the trouble came in the second. And in the second, you didn't get touched up, really. He did give up a run, but it was more the fact that he was inefficient with his pitches. The RBI single he allowed was on a full count. Was on a full count. After that, mound visit goes strikeout and then ground out, but you started to see the pitch count go high. He was already north of 40 pitches just 2 innings into the game. And remember, you want to be 12 to 15 pitches per inning if you're pacing appropriately. So at the high end through 2, you'd want to be through 30. He was already over 40. And then the third inning is where he really ran into some trouble. Missouri only scored single runs in the second, third, and fourth, but Chase Shores had to work around a lot of issues. He hits Knutson with a pitch on the first pitch of the inning. Then he walks Goldbeck on 4 pitches. So you're 5 pitches into the inning, you've hit a guy and walked a guy, and you put 2 on. Then he balks. So now you got second and third with nobody out. You get the soft line out. So there's 1 out, but still second and third. He gets the fly out to left field, but because of the balk, now you had a runner on third, so a run scored there. Then a full count walk, then a strikeout. So he limited the damage, but the leadoff hit by pitch on the first pitch of the inning, subsequent advancing because of the walk and balk, is what allowed that run to score. And that really has been the problem this weekend for LSU when they've run into problems. Missouri, as we've talked about, is a good offensive team. I know they came into this weekend 11th in the SEC in batting average, but they were still batting .301. It's just that the league is deep and good. They came into this weekend batting .301 as a team, cumulative batting average. They did 17 homers in 16 games coming into this weekend. The one thing Missouri did well, if you listen after further review, David DeLucci said it on Monday. Ben McDonald said it this week. Kendall Rogers said it this week. Everybody said it this week. Like the one thing Missouri does well, they don't pitch it well. They're dead last in the league. They don't field it well. They're dead last in the league. They can hit the ball. And LSU, unfortunately, gave Missouri too much. And you can go back and map this weekend and when you had success and when you struggled. And it's very obvious. On Friday, you walked 3 hitters, didn't hit any. And again, Cade Anderson was fantastic. The 11 strikeouts, just the 1 walk. On Saturday, this is where you had a problem. 7 walks, 2 strikeouts. On Sunday, 6 walks, 2 hit by pitch. On Sunday, 6 walks, 2 hit by pitch. I think that's where it finished, was 6. Let me make sure I have that right, so I'm not wrong on that. I'm pretty sure LSU finished with walking 6, yeah. So 6 and 2. So you gave them 9 base runners on Saturday. You gave them 8 base runners on Sunday. You out-hit Missouri 14-7. They out-hit you on Saturday. You were just more efficient. But on Sunday, you out-hit them 14-7. But you just gave them too many opportunities that allowed them to stay, I don't want to say competitive, because this game never felt like it was really within reach for Missouri. The closest they got was 5-3 in the top of the 4th after the last batter, Chase Shore's face, when he gave up the RBI single, when they turned the lineup over to get within 5-3, went to Connor Ware, and that was the closest they ever got. So it's not like this game was close, but this game ended up going over 3.5 hours, nearly 4 hours long, and you ended up having to use way more pitchers, I think, and deeper than you really had anticipated. It's because Shores was only able to get you through 3 2/3. And so then you had to go Ware and Rizzi and Primo and Cowan to get you home. But the Tigers do, in fact, get home. So you would have loved to have seen a deeper outing from Shores. It was just the inefficiency. The walks are what kicked him. He walked 3, he hit a guy, and ultimately that just drove his pitch count up, which didn't allow him to extend. It was interesting to see him go to Connor Ware. Now, remember, Missouri stacks the top of the lineup with lefties, so it would have been interesting in that spot. Jay Johnson with 2 outs could have gone to Connor Ware. They let Shores face one more hitter to try to get him through 4. He gave up the RBI single. Ware comes in, gets the strikeout, and then Ware had a really good start to the 5th. He got the out in the 4th to get you out of it. He got a fly out, then hit a guy. They go to Maverick Rizzi, who immediately gets the ground ball double play. So you didn't ask Ware to extend. He just got 2 outs that you needed. Rizzi came in, got you the ground ball double play, and then had a 1-2-3 top of the 6th, which was great to see. But like each of the guys that were pulled, they all ran into trouble. In the top of the 7th, Rizzi walks a guy. Then they go to Primo. That's where Milam had the beautiful flip behind the bag. Great defensive play there. They would get an RBI single off of Primo to make it 9-4. That's when Zach Cowan came into the game. The only the only run they scored was the run in the 9th, but Cowan was so good. He finished going 2 1/3, 5 strikeouts, just 1 walk. He was pretty fantastic. Zach Cowan was through 36 pitches. Saw him for the second time this weekend. I know I don't even have to look. I know someone's going to ask the question: should Zach Cowan be in the rotation right now? And it's a good question. It's a fair question. He was the Friday night guy at Wofford a year ago, and he's very capable, clearly, of getting hitters out at this level. The question that Jay Johnson ultimately and Nate Yeske will have to ask to answer that is, would you rather Zach Cowan affect one game or multiple games on the weekend? And quite honestly, with the way that you're struggling to find bullpen arms right now that can throw strikes consistently, you got a lot of arm talent. That's undeniable. You've got tons of arm talent in the bullpen. But finding those guys in the bullpen right now that can consistently throw strikes, if I have Zach Cowan that can go affect multiple games in a weekend for me, I'd rather that guy, especially with Gavin Guidry out right now. I mean, right now, you really feel like if you give the ball to Zach Cowan and Kason Evans, the game's over. It's not to say they're going to be flawless. If we saw Mariano Rivera blow saves, he's the greatest ever to do it. Like, you're going to see guys blow saves and give up leads. It happens. It's baseball. But those two guys you feel awesome about right now. And I don't know that I want to give up one of those elite arms in the bullpen that I know can get me outs when I give them the baseball with a lead. So I like having the option of having Zach Cowan and Kason Evans affect multiple games over the weekend out of the bullpen right now anyway. LSU offensively was really good in this ball game, and it started from jump when they had a 4-run first inning. Y'all, I mean, the Jake Brown's homer was awesome, but how about Derek Curiel? A 3-2 walk to lead off the game. I mean, on the day, Curiel, just a monster day again. He gets on, all he does is get on base, man. He's hitting .451 on the season now. He had 3 hits and a walk on the day. He was 3 for 3 with a walk. He's just awesome. It's baffling to see a guy as a freshman step in the first month of his career hitting .451, who's leading off, playing an elite defensive left field, and you realize he's just scratching the surface of his talent. But Curiel led off the game with a walk. Of course, he would come around to score because that's all he does. He gets on base and he scores, which is amazing to see. But Jones struck out. Then Dickinson was hit by a pitch. Then Ethan Fry, who got the start, again, a right-handed bat in the lineup against the left-handed starter. The double down the line would score Curiel. Milam, a sac fly. Then Brown hit a homer that went over the bleachers and right, which was awesome to see. And just like that, you're up 4-0, and you never really looked back. A couple of other individual performances I'd like to highlight. Ethan Fry was great. He was 3 for 4 in the day with a couple of RBI, and making the most of his opportunity is great to see. Fry's up to 382 on the season. And Fry was a guy a year ago that Jay was trying to force the issue with him, and Ethan Fry just could not hit SEC pitching. So this is really encouraging to see this start in conference play for Fry, getting a spot start against Mizzou to go 3 for 4 with a double, a couple of RBI, and the kind of day that he had, which was really good to see. Jake Brown was 1 for 5, but the homer obviously was the big blast. How about Michael Braswell? Another big day of just getting on base. He had a beautiful base hit on a 9. Wait, let me see. I think I charted it. See, Curiel had the sack bunt. Forgive me, I thought I had it. My goodness, my apologies, y'all. I thought I charted it. I don't think I did. But a beautiful AB by Braswell to come up with the base hit. He also walked. He was on base 3 times in this game. That's 6 times the last 2 days he's been on base. So you're talking about a guy who, and if you missed it, after the game on Saturday, Hunt Palmer talked to Braswell, has a great write-up at LouisianaSports.net plug, where Braswell, I want to read you this quote if you give me one quick second to get to it. Michael Braswell's quote about taking on a shared role right now at third base. I love this quote. This is Michael Braswell, again, senior starter last year at shortstop, moves to third this year, now kind of in a platoon situation. He said, quote, "I really don't care, honestly. I want us to win. I came back to go to Omaha. Whether I play or not, I want to contribute to winning, and I want to get us to Omaha. Everybody's playing great. I'm handling it pretty well." So talked about the same thing happened last year, how we started slow, came on late, but that's a guy with a ton of experience who has continued to see his batting average rise. Braswell's now up to 214. I'm not telling you 214 is anything to write home about, but when you were hitting 115 coming into the weekend, yeah, you raise your batting average 100 points on the weekend. You get on base, you score runs, you're productive. On Saturday, he had a huge AB with the bases loaded, where he had a 9-pitch AB. He had a couple of sacrifice bunts that scored runs, suicide squeeze bunts that scored runs. In a close ball game like he had Saturday, he produced 3 runs for you, which was great to see. So in any event, anything else I had? Oh, Dickinson was on base 5 times today as well. Oh, by the way, like I've been talking for 12 minutes. I haven't even mentioned that this guy got on base 5 times in this ball game, because that's just kind of how it goes. So there's going to be a lot like this on Saturday or Sundays in the SEC game 3s, where teams are going to be out of pitching. You're going to have to really force the issue offensively. LSU did that. They got up early, 4-0 in the first, and they really never looked back. Put up a crooked number in the fourth with that 3 spot, and the Tigers win at 10-5, sweeping Mizzou to start 3-0 in conference play. Do they have things to work on? Absolutely. There are 27 more SEC games. This is just the very, very, very beginning. But considering how you started a year ago, where you hit the halfway point of conference play 3-12, the fact that you start conference play with the same number of wins you had at the halfway point of league play last year, I'll take it. I'll take a 3-0 sweep against Missouri, which you had to go get. You did it. Now it's off to Texas next week. Okay, I'm shutting up. Quick break. When we come back, it's your turn. Drop your questions and comments in the live chat here with us on YouTube. If you're listening or watching on demand, thank you so much. Podcast, please subscribe on your favorite podcast app. YouTube, you know the drill. Subscribe. Hit the bell so you're notified when we post a new video or go live. And remember, when LSU baseball finishes their games, we're here live on the Locked On LSU YouTube channel. Your questions, comments next. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, With a competitive inventory of more than 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need, delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trademaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trademaster program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use the promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends over at WayFair. Your home should reflect your style. And with WayFair, it's easier than ever to make that happen. Whether you're looking for a simple refresh or tackling a big home project, WayFair has everything you need in one place. WayFair's huge selection makes it easy to find the perfect piece, no matter your space or budget, from cozy furniture, stylish decor, to kitchen essentials and outdoor must-haves. Wayfair has it all, and at prices that fit your budget. As a matter of fact, the desk I'm sitting at right now, bought at Wayfair. The chair I'm sitting in, got from Wayfair. The rug on the floor behind me, got from Wayfair. I am a big believer in Wayfair. You really will find whatever you're looking for. So go to wayfair.com and find something that's just your style today. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Okay, let's get to you. Tigers beat the Tigers. LSU beats Mizzou. The good guys sweep the weekend 3-0. 10-5 was your final on Sunday. Let's get to your questions and comments. Brant Roban said, I hope the defense stays strong. They have bailed out Rocky pitching so far this year. I don't know that I'm going to be agreeable to saying the pitching has been rocky. Kate Anderson was awesome on Friday. The bullpen behind him was really good. Kason Evans was nails on Saturday. I would actually say, but for William Schmidt's 3 walks, you found a way through it in game 2, near the end of that game. And then I would say Zach Cowan was great as well. Look, Maverick Rizzi was good. Came into a tough spot, got a ground ball double play. So I'm not just going to concede to you that the pitching has been rocky or bad. They have to fix the walks. That's a certainty. Like, you can't keep giving away free bases at the rate they are. Coming into Sunday, Ole Miss, Georgia, and Ole Miss and Georgia are the only programs that had more walks. LSU and South Carolina had issued the same amount of walks. So you were tied for 14th in the conference in walks allowed. Now, you know my contention on that. It's been a lot of pitchers that you're not necessarily going to count on. The concern is you're trying to count on William Schmidt. He goes out there on Saturday and walks 3 guys in an inning. That's a problem, right? But when Kate Anderson goes out there, strikes out 11, walks 1, and pitches you into the 7th inning, I'll take that. And that's a guy you're going to count on. So anyway, but all that said, yes, the defense is phenomenal. It is kind of funny how we actually considered the fact that Stephen Milam going to shortstop was ever even a question. Milam has been, Monty Williams said Milam is so good at baseball. Yeah, he's amazing. The fact that was even a thing that we talked about, the fact that it was the thing we even talked about at the beginning of this season. I mean, I get why we did, but the flip play today was amazing on Sunday. He even made a deep pick in the hole, a long throw across the diamond. Joseph Buchanan said, can we talk about the best middle infielders in college baseball? They have been fantastic to see. Max talking about Cowan's changeup. It's interesting. I remember we talked to the Wofford head coach. I want to look up his name real quick so I don't forget it. J.J. Edwards. So on After Further Review last year, when LSU was heading to the Chapel Hill Regional, they were going to play Wofford. And we kind of assumed that they were going to face Cowan. And Cowan, of course, had pitched deep in their conference tournament, so they didn't turn him around Friday, although he was warming up in that game to come in against LSU, if you remember. He didn't end up coming in. But one of the things that J.J. Edwards talked about was how elite that changeup is. And we continue to see it. It's so when you know it's coming. Survivors Remorse said Cowan's off speed is special. When you know a pitch is coming, you still can't hit it. That's when I would look at and say that's sort of the definition of special. I think that's a good word to use. And it's perplexing. It's like I'm going to hesitate to use this comparison, but you'll get it when I say it. Like Mariano Rivera is the greatest closer of all time. He had one pitch. He wasn't a 4 pitch mix guy. He had one pitch. He threw a cutter. But he was so elite at throwing that pitch at 93 miles an hour. He broke so many bats and nobody could ever square him up. I'm not saying Zach Cowan is Mariano Rivera. My point is when you do one thing, but you do it so well, sometimes that one thing doing it at an elite level is enough. Thomas Lee said Ethan Fry is an absolute stud. Fry had a monster day today, and that's very encouraging. Fry was 3 for 4. The thing about Fry is, if you go look at his stats from a season ago, it was a mighty struggle for him. He finished the season last year hitting 228, but that is really that's a bit misleading because if you actually go look at his conference batting average, I'm trying to look it up from a year ago. It's going to take me a second to get it, so forgive me for this. But if you look up Ethan Fry's conference average from a year ago in SEC games, that's the thing where it kind of tells the story. I'm trying to do it quickly. My apologies, y'all, for trying to do this on the fly. SEC fielding percentage, conference. Here you go. Okay. In conference play, Ethan Fry hit 185. He had 11 strikeouts in 27 at-bats. I don't do math real good. 11 divided by 27. In 41% of his at-bats in conference play struck out. It was bad. Like it was just he battled through an injury and all, but maybe it's just the progression of being in a program for a third year, which we don't see guys do all the time. But he has looked so good so far. And it was very encouraging seeing Fry not even starting all weekend, but getting that opportunity here in Game 3 and coming through the way he did. Landon, hardest sweep in the SEC. Love seeing Rizzy pitch well. Braswell continue to swing a hot bat. Big matchup next weekend. A great point on Rizzy. Rizzy's one of those guys that Jay has continued to tout. And when you are that physically imposing, right? When you're 6'9" or whatever he is, and you got a whip that throws 95, 96, you got to be able to command it, because if you can, that's a real weapon. And for Rizzy to come in the spot he did after Ware gave up the run in a 5-3 ball game, forgive me, my apologies. Hang on. Rizzy came in after Ware got the fly out, then hit by pitch in the top of the 5th. Rizzy comes in, gets the ground ball double play, then a 1-2-3-6. I thought that was a huge point of the game because that bridged the gap to get you to Primo and then to Cowan as well to keep that 9-3 ball game the way it was. Because remember, like you'll often hear coaches talk about like the 4-run sort of plateau, right? 4 runs, 1 swing can tie the game. So if your lead is over 4, you still feel like you can go out there and just throw strikes. You have a buffer to play with. So Rizzy maintaining that, I thought was really great. Please smash the like button if you're watching with us live. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video or go live. Hey, Abner Neal, thank you for being there. Trivia Carter, appreciate y'all. How about this? First opening series sweep since 2019. Congratulations to the Tigers. It certainly helps that you got a favorable draw right against Missouri, but I'd much rather start 3-0 with a cushion, with a buffer, playing from here. Jonah, LSU and Tennessee 3-0 in the SEC. Proud of the team. Happy to see how the team's shaping up with all the expectations. Tennessee is fantastic. They're a great team. Cannot wait to see that series in Baton Rouge later this year. Hey, Mike, do you feel Jones is having trouble at the plate? No, not at all. I think Jared Jones has been absolutely magnificent this season. He's hitting 400. Today wasn't a banner day. He was 0 for 4 with a strikeout. He was hit by a pitch. But the last time Jared Jones wore the collar, he followed up with a 3-hit day with 2 homers and a double. So sometimes you're going to have those days, but no, I mean, Jared Jones is hitting 400. Let's see. Jones is hitting 400 and his current on base person. Like, the thing that's most impressive about Jones, I'll tell you this. Like, Jones is hitting 400. His on base percentage is .521. I mean, it's incredible. But the thing that's most impressive about Jones, go to the game on. Hang on, it's on another legal pad. I used the last page of my legal pad last night, so I had to move to a new one. Jones, in the bottom of the 4th, after Braswell's suicide squeeze, 4-4 game, Jones comes up with 2 outs and the bases loaded. And everybody in this moment is thinking, okay, tie ball game, here's Jared Jones. He's going to hit one to the moon, and LSU's going to be up 8-4. And on the first swing, he swung like he was trying to hit it to Mars, and he missed it. He fouled it off. He just missed it. And then he comes back and very patiently stays back on the ball and just punches one to right center for a 2 RBI single. And that shows the maturation, I believe, of Jared Jones as a hitter, because the strikeouts had the power's always been there. 14 homers as a freshman, 28 last year, but the ability to be patient, to take your walks and take what they give you has been incredible. Now, we know he has power at all fields, but that was a situation last night where I look and I went, that right there is an illustration of Jared Jones's development and maturity as a hitter. When everyone's expecting him to hit the ball out of the stadium, and he very patiently stays back, gets a 2 RBI. It's Dad's show. Mommy's here. Okay, the door's open. Okay, I need to go get Mommy. All right, my apologies, y'all. I screwed up. The door is locked. I'm live, but I have to go let my wife in. Give me like 30 seconds. Okay. All right, my apologies. Let's see. Sometimes that's real life, and that's what happens when you go live. So no, to answer Mike's question in a short way, I do not feel like Jones has any issues at the plate whatsoever. Whodad Tigers, thanks for being there. Shores and Einstein better watch out if one of them struggles. Knew it was a matter of time before I got that question. Said it as we started the show. I could not disagree with you more. I understand why people are going to ask that question. I understand why you would think that. But you have got to, if your issue right now is finding reliable guys in the bullpen, the 2 guys who right now are the most reliable you have in the bullpen are Kason Evans and Zach Cowan. If you're struggling to find guys who are reliable out of the bullpen, why would you take reliable bullpen arms out of the bullpen and make them starters? So what if they start and they get you 4, 5, 6 innings and a lead and you hand it off to a bullpen you don't trust? What is more important right now is for Ianson and Chase Shores to throw strikes. Look, Ianson threw strikes. Ianson's issues Saturday weren't the walks. He just didn't miss any bats. They knocked him around pretty good. He had 1 walk. Shores, the inability to throw strikes consistently drove his pitch count up, which is why he didn't make it out of the 4th inning. So, no, I don't think Zach Cowan is going to be starting. I don't think that is. I'm not saying it. There's no point in this season where that won't happen. Like, you might get into the postseason where you play on the Monday of a regional and Cowan is fresh and he's your best arm and you want to give him the ball to go as deep in the game as he can. Cool. It might be another situation where we're getting way too far ahead of ourselves. The point being, no, I don't think Zach Cowan is anywhere close to starting because you need bullpen arms you can count on. He's one of 2 right now that you feel supremely confident when I give him the ball, the game's over. So Zach Cowan can go get you a 2 1/3 inning save. I actually didn't qualify for a save, but he can go take the ball and get you the final 7 outs, and you don't even have to sweat about it. So, no, I don't think Zach Howen is going to be starting anytime soon. Dale asked for an update on Guidry. Hopefully, Jay gives one today. A little disappointing not to see him throw this weekend, but he's been pretty honest in saying that they're not going to rush him back there, and they shouldn't. Who's the dude that starts the Go Tigers chants? Yeah, that's Chris Giat is his name. He's been doing that for like 40 years. Appreciate y'all for being here with us. Trav, with Shores having such great stuff, why does he not get more swing and miss? It's location, man. If it doesn't matter if you throw 98, if you can't locate it, if you're in a 3-1 count, everyone knows you're throwing a fastball. It doesn't matter if you throw it 98. You throw 98 over the plate, they know it's coming. Good hitters will hit it. So, look, Chase Shores didn't have a terrible day. He still struck out 5. Chase Shores struck out 5 in 3 2/3. So, of the 3, 6, 9, of the 11 outs he recorded, 5 were strikeouts. So he got a lot of swing and miss. He got a lot of strikeouts. But the walks, the hit by pitch, that's what drove his pitch count up, and that's what shrunk his outing, really, in the second and the third inning. When Chase Shores, coming out of the second, when his pitch count was over 40, you knew it was going to be a short day, unless if he followed up in the third with a really quick inning. Like, that's what Ianson was able to do last week when he had the rough start, but then he really honed in and ended up getting you through 6 as a result. Into the 7th. Seth Curiel's good at getting ahead of the count in his at bats. He's fantastic. Actually, Seth, like, not to be a total contrarian, but if you go look at the first at bat of the game, I believe he was down 0-2 and drew a walk. Let's see, he went ball, strike, foul. So he was down 1-2 and then drew the walk. This was it. That was the opening at bat of the game. Then in the second, when he singled, he was down 0-2 and singled. So I actually disagree with you. It's not that he gets ahead in counts. It's that he's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes, which I mentioned this in a previous episode. The best in recent memory of doing that was Josh Smith. Josh Smith would take until he got 2 strikes, which made him an amazing leadoff hitter because he made pitchers work because he was unafraid of hitting with 2 strikes. And Curiel is the same way, which makes him an amazing leadoff hitter. He is not afraid of hitting with 2 strikes. Jason, looking forward to the Texas series. Any insight on how they look this weekend? What's a realistic expectation for LSU next weekend? How does their pitching, particularly free base numbers, compare to us? Very candidly, Jason, I haven't done a deep dive on Texas just yet. Remember, Jim Schlossnagle is the head coach there now, leaving Texas A&M, going to Texas. Schloss is a great pitching coach. That's sort of his MO. Texas is, let's see. I want to check on how they did this weekend. Forgive me. Let me do this quickly. Texas. All right, Texas is won their first 2 games. I'm trying to see how the game 3 is going. That's right. They had the doubleheader on Sunday against Mississippi State. So they won the first game of the doubleheader, and they're leading right now 5-3 in game 2 of the doubleheader. So Texas looking like they're on pace for a sweep right now of Mississippi State if that holds. Let's see. Brain Trust Sports. When do we talk about Milam being the best shortstop since Bregman? Can we get past 5 weeks of the season? Josh Smith was great. He's a big leaguer, by the way. They've had great players. If you want to have that conversation, that's cool. I'm not ready to do that. I just love having Stephen Milam on this team. He makes seemingly every play at short, which is awesome, and he always gives you competitive at-bats. And honestly, to dovetail it into the Curiel conversation, because Curiel has been so good as a table setter at the top of the lineup, that's allowed you to stick Stephen Milam in the middle of your lineup, which you just basically hide him in the 5 or 6 hole. And what a luxury to have a guy like that, for most teams in America is leading off and you're counting on to be a key guy for you. But today, there he is batting 5th in the lineup. And Ho-hum, 2 for 3, double, walk, NBD, couple runs scored. Actually, he didn't score a run, but he had 2 RBI in the game. I mean, he's great. Yes, he's great. Mike Smith, first comment ever, an everyday listener on all platforms, and an LSU alum living in Southern Oregon since 2020. Thanks for all you do. Most importantly, your objective honesty. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it, man. Kindly thank you for watching, for listening wherever you are, and whenever you can. Shout out to all those Tigers that have been displaced, even if you're up there in Oregon. We appreciate it. Let's see. I like Cowan to stay in relief, more impactful. Let's see. Rhett O'Keefe, does the depth of the bullpen cause Jay to pull starters sooner? Feels like this year Jay is more confident in the bullpen than last year. I actually disagree with that. I don't think he's pulling starters sooner. I think he wants his starters to extend. I just think in certain situations he's looking at guys that he's trying to get work in certain situations. Like, look at today. I'll give you an example for today. So today, when they went to Connor Ware, it was a 5-3 ball game, and after the last hitter that they let Chase Shores face was a lefty, and they had Ware ready in the bullpen for a lefty-lefty matchup, but Shores got the strikeout, and so Jay was going to try to let him get out of the 4th inning. So he was going to let him face the lefty. He gives up the RBI single. They go get Ware, and Ware gets the strikeout. Because that was a run at the top of the lineup where they had 3, 4. Missouri, Missouri had 3 or 4 lefties at the top of the lineup. I know Cerna's a switch hitter. Golbeck, Cerna, Pierre Daniels at the top of the lineup, and Cerna was a switch hitter. So it's like they were turning the lineup over, and ultimately they were trying to let him get through it. But now you had this string of lefties coming, so they wanted to go to the lefty there in Connor Ware. So I don't know, man. I think Jay Johnson would love to have his guys go deeper in the ball game. I think especially on a Sunday, you'd love to see your guy get you through 5, at least. That feels arbitrary, but I mean, there's times where you look at a starting pitcher on a Sunday and you say, hey, just get me through the lineup once. Go find me 9 outs, and wherever we are in the ball game, then you'll hand it off to the next guy. But not every team has had the luxury of having Chase Shores where you can maybe count on him extending deeper in the ball game. So I don't know, man. Like at this point, I would tell you the arms in the bullpen that I'm confident in, certainly Kaysen Evans, certainly Zach Cowan. Connor Benj has been pretty consistent and good for you, and is pitched in some key spots. Those 3 certainly. After that, you've seen good moments from Ware and Rizzi and Schmidt. Like there have been at Primo, but there have also been times with those guys where they've struggled putting guys on base. So you give me a best case scenario. Starters are giving you 6 every outing, and then you're shrinking the amount of outs you need to get from your bullpen. You can rely more on the guys that you count on. Okay, hang on. So Survivor's Remorse says, back to my comments earlier on Curiel. For those that missed it, this was on another show. He was talking about Curiel being a Deadpool hitter. He said, including today, he had 2 or 3 hits to the right side, 32 hits on the year, 11, 1 bunt, not to the right side, 5 to the left side, 5 rest to center. So, but that is kind of an illustration of the point I'm making, and I'm trusting that your numbers are right. I'm not looking at, if you have them charted or you got them from LSU, great. That's awesome if you have. And I'll stand corrected if I'm wrong, but if you have 32 hits, of course I expect the majority of hits for any player to be to the pull side, and Curiel's a lefty. So what he was saying was that teams are going to start shifting Curiel if he doesn't start hitting to the opposite field. But the point is, like, look at the first at-bat the first single he had today was to center. And because of your comment, I was thinking about it watching the game today. He had a chopper to the right side, and the last hit was the dead pull down to the right side. But the first hit he had was 1 to center. The second one, the chopper one, was on his hands. Of course you're going to pull that ball. Like, you're not going, when the ball's in your hands, you're not going the other way. Of course he's going to try to turn on that ball. So I don't know, man. Like, that feels like an appropriate ratio. I'd love to know, if 2/3 of your hits are to the pull side and 1/3 of your hits are center field or the other way, that feels kind of appropriate. I'd love to know how that matches up to the other guys on the team. Like, Josh Pearson is a dead pull hitter. Teams already shift against Josh Pearson. Like, you never see Pearson go to left field. I shouldn't say never because I don't want to speak in absolutes, but he is a dead pull hitter. He is looking to pull everything all the time. I don't see that with Curriel, and that's kind of evidence there. I mean, if you're telling me 1/3 of his hits are the other way, okay, and how many outs go to center field or the other way as well? All right, y'all. Let's wrap this thing up. I'm only supposed to be going like 30 minutes. I've been extending it, but I'm happy to do that because I appreciate y'all for being here. Okay, if you're on YouTube, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video or when we go live. And remember, we go live as soon as these LSU baseball games go final. So let a friend know and join us here on Locked On LSU for the post-game recaps as soon as these games go final. If you're listening on podcast, please subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Rate us, leave a review, and let a friend know if they love the Tigers. We got you here every single day for Locked On LSU, your team every day.